Those luxury apartments everyone complains about, they're actually the secret to making your rent more affordable. Let me show you how. Once upon a time, in a city much like yours, lived a very frustrated renter named Ronnie. He had just received his third rent increase notice this year, and he was at his breaking point. "This makes no sense," thought Ronnie. "They're building fancy new apartments everywhere, but my rent just keeps going up. Shouldn't more housing mean lower prices? That's how economics is supposed to work, right?" That night, with his mind racing about rent prices and housing markets, Ronnie drifted into an uneasy sleep. Little did he know he was about to receive a very special visitor. "Who are you?" stammered Ronnie, suddenly wide awake. The glowing figure smiled kindly. "I am the housing wizard, and I've come to explain something very important that most grown-ups don't understand about how housing actually works." With a wave of his staff, the wizard conjured a miniature city floating above Ronnie's bed. "The housing market isn't just one big pool of apartments," explained the wizard. "It's more like a ladder, with different rungs representing different types of housing. Watch carefully now. When new luxury housing is built," said the wizard, pointing to a gold-glowing building, "people who can afford it move in. But, and this is the part most grown-ups miss, those people were already living somewhere else, weren't they?" "Yes," said Ronnie, beginning to understand. "So when they move into the new place, they leave their old apartments empty." The wizard beamed. "Exactly. And then someone else can move into those vacated homes, which creates more vacancies elsewhere. It's called filtering, and it ripples throughout the entire housing market. Let me show you what happens with just a tiny 1% increase in housing," said the wizard. "On the left is your city with new construction. On the right is the same city if all those luxury buildings had been blocked. Pay very close attention to what happens next." The wizard sped up time, and Ronnie watched in amazement. In the city with just 1% more housing each year, rents gradually stabilized and even fell in some areas. In the city without new construction, rents rose everywhere, forcing people to spend more and more of their income on housing. "But those are luxury buildings. How does that help someone like me who can't afford them?" asked Ronnie. The wizard pointed to Ronnie's own building in the model. "See for yourself. When wealthy people have new places to move to, it reduces competition for everything else. Even a small shift has big effects downstream." "So why don't we build more housing everywhere?" Ronnie wondered. The wizard sighed. "Many grown-ups fight against new housing in their neighborhoods. They worry about traffic, parking, or changing neighborhood character. They don't realize they're actually making housing more expensive for everyone, including themselves and their children. This is the secret that housing economists have discovered," explained the wizard. "Even a small 1% increase in housing supply can reduce rents by 5 to 7% over time compared to what they would have been otherwise. It's a powerful multiplier effect that most adults simply don't understand." As dawn broke and the wizard began to fade, Ronnie had one last question. "What can I do to help?" The wizard smiled. "Just remember what you've learned tonight. When you hear people opposing new housing, any new housing, you'll understand the real cost of their opposition." Ronnie woke up with newfound clarity. His rent problem wasn't just about his greedy landlord, it was about the entire housing ecosystem. And the solution wasn't stopping new luxury apartments, it was building more housing of all kinds, everywhere possible. That evening, Ronnie went to a community meeting about a new apartment building proposal. For the first time, he spoke up in favor of new construction. The housing wizard's lesson had transformed him from a frustrated renter into an informed housing advocate. Now it's your turn to share what you've learned. Comment below with your city's housing situation. Are you Team YIMBY, yes in my backyard, who supports more housing? Or Team NIMBY, not in my backyard, who wants to restrict it? And don't forget to subscribe for more grown-up bedtime stories that explain the confusing parts of adult life. Remember, even those fancy new buildings you love to hate are actually helping keep your rent in check. Sweet dreams, and may your housing costs always filter downward. The end.